Hey everybody, okay, here's the hifonics Samson 8K, and this is the one we're gonna try and throw up in the Tahoe. First of all, this thing, I'm gonna put the camera right here. I'm gonna grab a tape measure. Alright, got one. So this thing is with that about where the legs are, is like, okay, it's like 39 inches. And let's see here, it is about a foot wide. And as for the height, it is about 3 inches tall. And on the here, this is an old half bridge amp, and it's got some inputs and outputs. It's got even a balanced input, which is pretty unusual. I don't have the cable for that. It's got the gain. It'll do 0 to 180 phase. It's got a bass boost. It's got a little bandwidth button here, I guess, to open or make the boost more narrow. And then it's got the low pass crossover right here. It goes 30 to 100 hertz. It's got a subsonic filter, and let's see, this frequency right here is probably for the boost, which we're not going to use that. And here's the low pass filter. It's actually 35 to 250. And then it's got some unusual stuff here. It's got like the red light means clip, amber. The same little light will turn amber, this light here. For near clip, and green is, I guess, good pre-clip. And then they got the diagnostic LED up here at the top. Red is short circuit, amber is a thermal. And then I guess you could strap these together with another one, because this one's going to say output master, input slave. And the remote for this thing is kind of unusual. I didn't have one, and to make a long story short, I've been looking for one for a while on eBay and all over the web. And if you notice right there, it says HFR-G1 remote. So I got that hifonics Mount Olympus Colossus, and guess what it came with? A HFR G1 remote, and it has that crazy DIN cable. So yeah, so we'll try this on it. And then on this end over here, it looks like it has some I guess 0 gauge inputs, 2 of them. It has the remote. It has 2 positives and 2 negatives out. And of course, made by Maxonics. Not big fan of Maxonics. I'm sure they make some good amps, and then some are not so good. Every one I personally had, only one of them lasted any kind of length of time. That's the one that old bass cabal got in his car, I gave to him. This one though, this one was a little different. We're gonna open it up and I'm gonna show you guys what's in it. Let's see. This thing is extremely heavy. All right, well, there is the little fan I was talking about that was added to this, and it's over the output section. I don't know if this is version 1 or version 2. It is a Korean amp. So if you guys stand by for just a minute, I will take these screws out and we will see what's up in there. Metric. That one. Let's see if it'll fit one of these. Oh, smaller than that. And smaller than that. Come on, really? Alright, let's see if I got a bit that'll fit it. I apologize for this. I didn't expect to not have what I need at the moment I needed it. Let's see. Of course, my allergies are kicking up on me again today. Always fun. Let's try this one. Yeah, that'll work. Out. See if you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. Got 12 screws. All right. Sorry about that. I just didn't want to have y'all sitting there waiting, because I can't find none of my damn metric sets around here somewhere. But you know how it is. You get involved in a lot of projects and you misplace things. I'm sure I'll find it when I don't need it. It's typical. Get that one out. But I did find the right metric. So my spare ones, spare Allens. Get this one out. This last one wants to be a pain. So, let's see. Without further ado, all right, so you can see somebody added a fan after the fact to this thing, and I opened it one day and I put that little plug so I could take this all the way off. But you can see the power supply section, and some people on the forums, kind of old forums, say this was similar to a was it Digital Designs, was a DDZ1A or something like that. I don't know, but there's all the input section. There is the output section. You got all these caps. They're 200 volt, 1800 microfarad, and I can't tell what brand they are. Probably some Korean brand. Yeah, I see that solder joint right there. That kind of, this one right here, it looks soldered, but I guess we'll find out. I got a big old iron. I could probably touch that up. So, does this thing work? I don't know. I know I found the original owner of this amp looking on the forums, and the original amp blew up, and they sent it back to some repair place, I can't remember, and they put a new board. They put a whole new board in it. And when I got it, the positive negative, they painted that with some kind of permanent marker or something. I got that crap off of there, and that's how I identified it online, because it was painted a long time ago like that. But I'm gonna take this thing and hook it up. This did not originally have a fan. I think it had maybe it had like where they were gonna put one and they cut it out or something. So I'm gonna stop the video here. I'm probably gonna touch up that one solder joint, and then on the next video we're gonna start installing this thing and see if it works. All right, so guys, I had to do this with my phone. My GoPro died. Anyways, I did resolder that connection, and I resoldered that one, and I tightened them screws, and I got my little, this is a little 30 amp power supply, and as you can see, it's not pulling any current, and I do have it hooked up. These positives are internally connected and the negatives, so all I'm doing here is just powering it on to see if it works. And I already did, and it does work, but I want to show you something. This is why you don't mess with some of these amps. I'll show you the voltage this thing makes, which is insane. So the capacitors are rated at 200 volts a piece, but I believe they're in series, so you can handle 400 volts. But you see these big terminals coming off the power supply here? These are your voltages. So I get 297 volts between them two. I get like 150 between them two, and between the center one and that one I get 150, and this one right here I get about 298 volts. And I'm just gonna show that right quick. So I'm gonna power this thing on. Okay, I got the remote in there. Get this little wire in there. Okay, and you'll hear it click here in a second. Okay, so it's on, and we'll take our fluke here, and I'm just gonna go between this terminal, let's see, and this one, 200 Actually 300 volts. That's why you don't want to be messing around with some of these amps. That shit can kill you. You see these capacitors here? Those will discharge a shit ton of current. And it'll go through you. And you don't want that happening. So another thing I checked, to see if we got any DC on the speaker terminals. And we do, but it's 0.1. I mean, it's not really nothing to worry about. I was looking for a zero offset adjustment on here, and I don't see one, so I don't know if you can adjust it on these, like tar amps and stuff. You can adjust it. So I just pulled the remote out. Oh, also I wanted to show you something else. These do have high idle current. So let me turn it back on. See my power supply? It's pulling 8.8 amps, doing nothing but just being on. I don't know if the hifonics logo's on. So it does have high idle current. That's pretty high. That little tar amps Big Boss, it pulls 2.3 at idle, because I worked on it. That's another video. That's a new Big Boss 3 that Bass Kebab bought. He had it in his car about a month and it just quit working. Did nothing, absolutely nothing. So I took it apart and I traced the remote line in with power on it. And there's most of these little tar amps will use what's called a linear regulator. And tar amps use a lot of linear regulators, but in this thing, like my Smart 3, it has linear regulators. It's a 3-pin job, looks like a transistor. This one has a switching regulator in it. And you see that more with stuff like some of the other Brazilians, like Sound Digital uses those. And I guess they use them because they're more efficient. But the problem we had was the 5 volts was missing in here. And I found a resistor R133. It was a 2.2 ohm, 1 watt resistor. Didn't look burnt or anything, but when I checked it, it fed the main voltage to the regulator. It was reading 27 ohms. It was making like 2.2 volts on everything. So, of course, the PIC chip runs on 5 volts. It tells us to turn on, everything clinko torculates and it starts running, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the remote turns that regulator on, but that regulator has a feed from the 14 volts, and it goes through that current limiting resistor. And when I went to desolder it, it was broken too. It was just a piece of it came off on my soldering tip. So I didn't have a 2.2 ohm resistor. I called around here. Did find some half watt. I stuck it in there and it works. And it pulls 2.3 amps idle current, just like it says on their website. And everything seemed to work. I hooked it up to some speakers and put a signal on it, and it played just fine. However, that little half watt resistor is running 190 degrees. So I was going to put another surface mount 1 watt in there. And I did find some 2 watt surface mounts, but it'll be a long time before I get them because I have to order them. They're a little wire wound type. So I got some big stupid 2 watt 2.2 ohm resistors coming today. And I'm going to put that in here and we're going to give it back to Bass Kebab and we're going to see how that does. But getting back to this Bass 8K, I think I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I'm going to button this bad boy back up and we'll hook it up. Now, it's off right now and you can see it's pulling no current. But man, that idle current, that's pretty high. So let's see. I'm running 13.9 volts. 13.9. It's 8.8 amps. That's like 120 watts just idling. So, yeah, that heat is going to generate heat somewhere. And oh, also I checked the little fan. The little fan does blow up in that direction. And it's setting right over this output section, so it should keep that cool. Hopefully the power supply doesn't run too hot, but it should have enough air going through there. It does have some vents on the bottom. It has a little bit right there. I'm hoping that'll be enough. If not, I'm gonna have to like jack that up off the board so air can come out them holes. But this is an old amp. I guess it's from, well, this one says 2007 on it. And it's revision 0, so it is the first version. So this is the one that runs hot. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for now. Gonna put this back together. In my next video, we're gonna start hooking this up and see what it does. Peace. All right, I got it up and running. There's a little bit of a voltage drop through those wires. They're a little bit warm. So this thing's pulling about like 8.8 amps. That's the real-time voltage. Also, I put a 10 ohm load resistor just to have something on the output. Not getting hot at all. This thing has been running for about 15 minutes. There's the remote. The remote does work. I did notice the LED on there is not working. However, that one's working. And what I'm doing is I'm letting it run. I'm going to let it run for several hours to allow the electrolytic capacitors to reform in this thing. It's probably been sitting for a long time before I got it, and it says 2007 on there, so you know that's a long time ago. That's what, I don't know how many years ago. Long time. So I'm just going to let it run, let the voltages stabilize. Hopefully the capacitors will reform just fine. Something old like this, you don't want to slap it right in there and start pulling current on it right away, because those old capacitors, man, will fail on you and this will blow up. Now there's a chance this thing still will blow up just sitting here, and so far it's not hot at all. I got it jacked up on a screwdriver so that little fan moves some air in there. I don't really feel any heat. So if this thing starts getting hot, by all means I'm going to shut it down. But so it's almost 6 p.m. I'm gonna let it run for a while, and that little power supply seems to be handling it. I hear the fan kick on every so often. I don't want to put too much current in this thing, because if this thing does decide to short out, all it'll do is peg that little supply and cut it off. So I'll keep you updated.